Now in its 9th season, it's Prodigy Bowlers Tour, celebrating junior bowling and elevating junior bowlers. Today, episode 185, the 2025 Kansas City Open March Point Tournament. 5 players have qualified for the stepladder finals, but only one can leave as the Division I champion. Here are the 5 finalists. The 5-seed Trey Donath III of Topeka is making his first appearance on Prodigy. He'll face the 4th qualifier, Fiona West of Raymore, Missouri. The winner of that opening match will meet the 3-seed, Jesse Holtkamp. He won in November when we were here in Lawrence. That winner will challenge the 2-seed, Caden White of Lee Summit, looking for his 2nd title in a row. And that winner will bowl for the championship against Landon Ziegenhurt. He's our tournament leader. One of these talented young athletes will emerge from our field as the Division I champion at the Kansas City Open and will sign the coveted trophy pin today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. We welcome you once again to Lawrence, Kansas, the home of the University of Kansas Jayhawks. Just up Iowa Street, a few blocks from the campus, is Royal Crest Lanes, which plays host to tons of leagues, tournaments, and private events like birthday parties. And today we're here for the Division I Championship Round at the 2025 Kansas City Open March Point Tournament. On our last episode, you witnessed the Division II stepladder finals at this same tournament, where Kelton Meyer added a KCO title to his list of accomplishments following his team winning the Kansas High School Bowling 1-4A state championship just a few days earlier. Prodigy regulars know by now that the KCO features competition in 5 average-based divisions. Here on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, we show you 2 of those divisions at each tournament. We start with one of the handicap divisions. This month it was Division II. And then we always bring you the Division I championship round. And that's why we're here today. Contestants in all 5 divisions begin with 6 games of qualifying, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, before the field is cut to the top 5 for the stepladder finals, where the 5-seed bowls the 4-seed, then the winner advances to face the 3-seed, and so forth. In other words, players keep advancing as long as they keep winning. So without further ado, let's get match 1 underway. It's our number 5 qualifier, Trey Donath, who's bowling on Prodigy for the first time today, facing Fiona West. In November of 2022, the first time Prodigy came to Royal Crest Lanes, Fiona was the Division II tournament leader, posting scores that would have led any of the 5 divisions, and she proceeded to defeat the 2-seed, Justin Preston, that afternoon, closing her title match with a 7-bagger to leave no doubt as she claimed the title. But that was then, and this is now, and I know Trey Donath is eager to show Fiona and all of Prodigy Land what he's capable of. So, let the games begin. Fiona West was the higher qualifier. She had the option, and she's elected to lead off. And she starts with a bang. Tell you what, you can't plant one in the pocket any deeper than that. Watch this. No deflection as this ball goes through the pins. Over about 12 at the arrows, out to about 10 at the break point, and man, that was a steamroller. Fiona starts with a strike. Now, Trey Donath. And he gets a friendly love tap on the 10, which falls out late, but it falls out. And that's all that really matters, I suppose. Watch Trey. He's playing way out by the edge. Around the first arrow, throws that thing out to about 3 at the break point. 6-pin, tips out the 10 with a little friendly love tap. Thank you very much. Love it. Not quite as wide on the left lane. I don't know if he pulled it from where he was intending it to go, but certainly the ball finished fractionally high, and he leaves the 4-pin. Says his best moment in bowling came when his team won the 5A state tournament his freshman year, and he took 8th individually. That was the first time his school won the state championship in bowling. Shawnee Heights High School. As he goes cross lane at the 4-pin. Covers the spare easily. So a strike spare beginning to his match. And now Fiona West will move over to the right lane. Still some scoring corrections to be done. Shelley's taking care of that. She's one of the board members at the KCO. And a former champion candlepin bowler back in the day when she lived in New England years ago. She ran the stepladder on a candlepin telecast once when she was 8 months pregnant. Wow, that's impressive. And that's impressive for Fiona. A couple of strikes to start. First time we came to Royal Crest Lanes to film a KCO for Prodigy Bowlers Tour, we saw Fiona West lead the Division II group with qualifying scores high enough that she would have led Division I. She went on to win from the number 1 position that day, defeating Justin Preston. She did it with impressive shot making, quite unlike what we've just witnessed as she leaves the 4-6-7. She just rode the oil line. When the ball started breaking a little high, she'd move aboard left with her feet, move her eyes left aboard at the arrows, and she just stayed right there on the oil line and never seemed to break a sweat. She takes the count on the split. She doesn't really generate the ball speed to try to bounce one out, and right-hander is very rarely going to slide the 4 across the lane to get the 6, so Fiona did the smart thing, took the count. And now Trey up on the right lane. And he rips the rack. He'll have to keep his ball speed up, laying the ball down as far outside as he is today. That's not usually where we see people playing the lanes here at Royal Crest. Take another look at Trey. You see the ball under his head or even a little left of that, which is ideal. And look how close it is to his ankle. He just barely misses his ankle with the ball. And boy, let me tell you something. You hit the inside of your ankle with the bowling ball, you will remember it. He played a little farther to the inside that time. The ball seemed to hold the line more easily, but look at him, 3 strikes in 4 frames. Here's Trey's footwork, a 5-step approach, little bitty 3rd and 4th step, slides about 1.5 feet behind the foul line, and plants one in the pocket. There's a little love tap on the 10 for Fiona West. So she too with 3 strikes in 4 frames, except she's got an open where Trey has a spare, hence the difference in score. There's Fiona's ball right under her head. She could get her hand a little more behind the ball, but can't argue with the success she's had bowling the way she bowls. It's a very simple, no frills approach, easy to repeat. And this game is all about repetition. Look at that. Another half pocket hit that tomahawks out the 10. She has surprising power. Also a 5-step approach. A little bit of a planter. Foot finishes perpendicular to the foul line the way we like it, and that's a strike. Well, Trey just a wee bit light with that one. Nearly had the 4-8, which can be tricky. But the 8 goes, and he's left with just the 4-pin. Should have no problem with this. There you go. Well, we've got bowling on our right. That's Division 3. We'll keep an eye on them, and we'll let you know how their stepladder played out at the end of the show. Ooh, look at her. Nearly making the Greek church. Not bad. We'll recap their stepladder at the end of the show after we talk to our winner. Oh, my goodness. Look at Trey. He's got the nosedive working for him today. This is right on the beak. It could have been a 6, 7, 9, 10, but they all caved in somehow. Take it and run. And Fiona gets the light shaker to take the left side of the rack out. That did not look like it was going to get back. But that's what I'm talking about. She has kind of sneaky power. Doesn't look like she's going to overwhelm you, but watch this light hit. Get those pins falling sideways, and they can take out other pins on the way down. She's working on a turkey. And that's where the string will end. She nearly had the 4-5 standing. That ball was not her best. Little DOA action there. But she leaves an easy spare. The 5-pin, if there's an easier spare, I'd like to know what it is. Maybe the 1-pin. But she makes short work of it. And now, Trey Donath, trailing by 5, with a strike working. He can take the lead by putting a strike up here in the 7th. And that's just what he does. He did not get that one as far right as he has some others on the right lane. And it seemed to set quite nicely. Watch this. Boy, that thing is close to his ankle. See, that ball only gets out to about 6, maybe. So he's got some pull area for sure. But not that much pull area. He threw that one over about 9 or 10 at the arrows. And didn't have the nosedive working for him that time as he leaves the 6-10. We'll move to the left side of the lane and go straight at the 6-10. And he just gets the 6. But it's a spare nonetheless. And he maintains a 3-pin lead. lot of traffic between the lanes. The practice pair is 1 and 2. And that's where these kids are bowling right now. They may be getting ready for their, well, they are getting ready for their matches over on the right. Fiona, unbothered by it all, throws another strike. We'll see it again. She's got a real straight arm swing. Straight back, straight through. Now, if it looks like it wraps behind her back a little bit, that's only because her launch angle is a little left to right. So you want that swing in line with your launch angle. And hers is perfect. And that's why she's always keeping the ball in play. Tell you what, that bowling team at Avila University is getting a good one in Fiona this fall. That's over about 12 at the arrows, out to about 7 at the break point. Tomahawks out to 10 again, like a machine. Boy, Trey gave that one a little extra at the bottom, and it just exploded the pins. But he trails by 7, heading into the 10th frame. Watch that one again. Watch him right through the release zone. Gives it a little extra loft. That gives it a little extra fingers. And down they go. Needs a strike here to take the lead in the 10th frame. Oh, man. He threw that one awfully good to leave a 10 pin. All right, cover this up and get good count, and that'll force Fiona to mark in the 10th. Don't be giving this one away. Look out. Well, he has just about surrendered any hope of winning the match now. Fiona can win without a mark. If he had covered that spare, it would have at least forced Fiona to have a clean frame. Although she strikes to remove any doubt, and with that strike she secures the match and will be moving on to match 2. Boy, you hate to see an easy one get away like that. If Trey had marked, it would have put a little bit of pressure on Fiona. Maybe she'd have felt it. Maybe not. Maybe she'd have thrown that shot exactly the way she threw it. But we'll never know. Possible 244 with 2 more strikes. Leaves the 10, so she's going to be in the 230s. Tell you what, that's a nice way to start the day in the stepladder finals. When you've got to win all 4 matches to go all the way, you like to get off to a strong start with a big first game. That's a 233 without really breaking a sweat. So Trey Donath finally makes the show, but it's a quick one and done. And Fiona West is moving on. She'll face Jessie Holtkamp when we return. Well, the final score in that match doesn't really convey how close it was. Trey Donath and Fiona West spent most of the match separated by less than a mark. But then when Trey missed that 10-pin in the 10th frame, it virtually handed the match to Fiona. But Trey showed us that he's got the game that could deliver a win. And now that he's broken through and made the show, I expect we'll see him again. But today, it's Fiona West who's moving on. Her next obstacle is Jessie Holtkamp, who won here in Lawrence when we were here in November. So both of these two players know the way to the winner's circle at Royal Crest Lanes. Although Fiona has some added incentive. Due to some scheduling conflicts in the coming months, this is the last KCO she'll be competing in. She's got tournament commitments on the dates of the remaining KCOs this season, and she ages out of youth bowling this summer. So you can bet Fiona will leave nothing in the bag trying to make the most of her opportunity today. But as Prodigy viewers saw in November, she's got a tiger by the tail. So I expect both of these players will show us their A game, and that always makes for a very entertaining match. A real contrast in styles with these two. Jessie, a lot of power. And Fiona with a lot of accuracy. This could be interesting. Take a look at Jessie's style. Two-hander. Keeps that hand behind the ball like we like to see it. That's why that ball has such penetrating force going through the pins. Not a lot of deflection. But as we've seen, Fiona is certainly capable of getting the pins to dance in her own way. But that time the shaker leaves the 7 unshaken. So she'll have a single pin spare to face as she gets match 2 underway. Fiona started bowling at the age of 10. Whew. Don't want to hurt him now. She's got a bunch of tournament wins to her credit. And her best finish at Junior Gold was 23rd, which is pretty good. It's real good. That was real good, too. A rocket to the pocket. That thing was like a frozen rope. Pretty straight at it, but never a doubt. That's what she can do to you. All right, Jessie. Oh! Well, sometimes you can get a little too much power. This ball had no deflection at all, and that hurt him. Watch it chop the 5 right off the 9. The ball is supposed to hit 4 pins, the 1, 3, 5, and 9. But Jessie's ball finished behind the 8 pin and took the 5 right off the 9. But he converts the spare and will be content with a strike spare start to his match. Jessie started bowling at the age of 3. A diminutive young fellow, stands about 5'3", but he is a mighty mite on the lanes. Prodigy viewers may recall when he was on the show in November, we learned that he was good friends with Hunter Moffett, who many longtime Prodigy viewers know as one of our biggest stars from our Georgia days. Fiona with a double. And she moves out ahead to take the early lead in this match. Simple back and through action with her arm swing, and that ball was dead on line the whole way. She sent that one maybe a board wider, and it just rode the oil line right into the pocket. I tell you who she reminds me of from our Georgia days. She reminds me a little bit of Tony McQuarrie, who I nicknamed Tony the Tigress. When I was first introduced to Tony, who bowled over at Lilburn in Georgia, I was told this girl has no fear bowling the boys. And that was true. Fiona's kind of the same way as Jessie rips the rack, sending that 5-pin over into the 7, nudging the 7 off the pin deck. We'll get another look at it here. There, that ball and his arm close to his body the way we like it. But look at the bottom of the swing. That ball is not under his head like we like to see it. It's way out to the right, and he's got a huge gap between the ball and his leg and his elbow and his hip. And if he would shrink that gap and get the ball closer to his body, what I'm about to say may scare you, but he could have even more power than he has. And decidedly more accuracy. Anytime that ball gets that far away from your body, you lose accuracy. Short 5-step approach with a real short 4th step. But I tell you what, there's a lot of bowling talent packed in that little 5'3" body of his. Oh, no. Well, the pocket 7-10. I never like to see that for anybody. That is a showstopper right there. As we mentioned earlier, Fiona doesn't really generate the ball speed you would expect to need to get one to bounce out, but you never know. It's 9 out and an open frame halfway through the game. And with that, she surrenders a 14-pin lead. But there's still a lot of bowling left in this match. And look at this, she bounces right back like the champion she is. Take a look at her in our 3-up look with strikes in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th frames of this match. Each shot pretty similar. Not only is her bowling action similar, but even the way she walks back from the foul line is pretty similar. Let's stack them on top of each other and see just how similar they are. I think we will notice a slight deviation in her ball's trajectory. You see it goes over a couple of different spots, but it ends up in the same place. And look at that, her walk back is even pretty similar. Well, it's not a coincidence that she is one of the most consistent bowlers we have at the KCO. And I, for one, hate to see her go at the end of this season. All right, Jessie, Boom. He keeps his string going and extends his lead to 24 pins with that bomb. Yeah, never a doubt with that one. He's got 5 strikes in 6 frames. That's 6 strikes in 7 frames. Jesse looks very determined. Let's see his style in our 3-up comparison, with strikes in the 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Pretty similar. We'll stack them on top of each other and see if you can tell the difference as we look at it using our exclusive 3-deep look. Little variation, but not so much that the pins would notice. All right, Fiona, it's go time.
Come on, man.
10-pin. The dreaded 10-pin. The thorn in every right-handed bowler's side. It's the 7-pin for left-handers. I tell young people that I coach, if you're starting out in this game, you better learn how to make the 10-pin. Because if you're a right-hander, you're going to leave it more than any other spare there is. All right. Trailing by 34. She's got to get busy right now. Oh, I did not think that was coming back. She let that one get away wide. But because of her moderate ball speed, it did track back to the pocket, the light pocket, but she got enough of it. Head pin goes to the wall, comes back, gets the 4, 5, and 7. And now Jesse back up on the right lane, trying to build on this 5-bagger. But no, he's thwarted by a 4-pin. And that'll give Fiona West at least an outside chance. She can at least chip away at his lead, and who knows, maybe climb back in this thing at the very end. Jesse covers the single pin spare. As they head into the 9th and 10th frames, Jesse going at a 239 pace. Fiona can strike out for 236. There's a crushing strike for Jesse. Boy, he just ripped him apart on that one. Watch this, the ripper. The half pocket, watch the 5-pin go over and just tear the legs out from under the 7-pin. All right, Fiona, no margin for error now. And she rips the rack. Well, like I said, she's kind of got sneaky power. She can hit that half pocket and blow the rack with the best of them. Watch this. Watch the 5-pin, the one behind the head pin. Doesn't quite get over to the 7, but she sends so many pins over to it that it got caught up in the wash. And she just plows them over with that one, crowding the head pin a bit, but I think you'd have to call that high flush. Over about 11 at the arrows, out to about 8 or 9. Down they go. Still with a possible 236. Look at this. Well, she's done what she had to do. Now, she's going to need full count on the fill ball to really get Jessie's attention. If she can throw a strike on her fill ball, that would at least force Jessie to get a spare and 8 to win. There you go. Well, that's a strong finish for Fiona. She gave it all she had, and now it's just a matter of will it be good enough. She gave herself a chance. That's a beautiful finish. But now Jessie, a strike would win it. If he gets a spare, he'll need 8. Look at this. He just shreds the rack, and that will just about finish it off. He's still going to need a few pins in count, but with a strike on his first ball in the 10th, he's going to need, what? Just a handful of pins in 2 balls. Mark it down. It's Jessie Holtkamp who takes match 2 here in Lawrence. Here's the shutout ball. Over about the 4th arrow, out to about 7. That's beautifully done. Possible 259. Okay, that's a 9 count, 258. Well, Fiona, you can't feel too bad about it when you bowl as good a game as you did. And I bet she'd like to have that pocket 7-10 back, but it is what it is. It's Jessie Holtkamp who's moving on to face Caden White in our next match. Every now and then, we get a match on Prodigy Bowlers Tour that just takes your breath away. And that last match we just watched might have qualified. If it weren't for that pocket 7-10 in the 5th frame, we might be talking about how Fiona West just won her 2nd match. But instead, it derailed her effort to keep her winning ways going. Still, she finished with a 5-bagger and forced Jessie to show up in the 10th. So Fiona's final appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour came up a little short, but was highlighted by another strong performance. I gotta say, in the 3 seasons Prodigy has been covering the KCO, Fiona West has been consistently the strongest girl bowler in the KCO field. The good people at Avila University are going to be lucky to have her on the school's bowling team next season. But today, it's Jessie Holtkamp who was up to the challenge of taking down Fiona. And now Jessie advances to match 3 against one of our 3 reigning co-players of the year, Caden White. Caden, who'll be turning 18 at the end of this month, March 2025, and Jessie Holtkamp, who's already 18. So both of these players will be aging out of youth bowling over the summer. This is our last season with them on the KCO and Prodigy, unless they come back to bowl as an adult in one of the adult youth doubles tournaments. That has been known to happen. Oh my. And Jesse whiffs the 7-pin. It's a couple of times here in the last few shows that we've seen somebody play the 7-pin or the 4-pin down the left side of the lane, and they send it out a little to the right and it doesn't come back. So an opening for Caden White in the first frame. But Caden says, no, I'm going to make it difficult on myself. And he leaves the 2-10 split. Here's how you make it. Put the ball over on the left side of the 2, just graze it slightly and send it over into the 10. The one bad break you can get is to hit it a little too thin, send the 2 around the 10. Caden goes with his backup ball, and he makes it. How about that? That's it. Show us a little artistry, why don't you? This is perfect. And I'll tell you what, that backup ball sure does come in handy. I don't remember ever seeing players, even pros, throwing a backup ball 20, 30 years ago, but a few of them have added it to their repertoire, and it's a real handy tool to have in your bag. Your bag of tricks, that is. Caden follows that split conversion with a solid strike over the 4th arrow out to about 8. And that looks to be the sweet spot right there. All right, Jesse. Comes in light. And, well, I guess he's going to keep shooting the 7-pin until he makes it. Bowling has a funny way of doing that to you sometimes. If you show a weakness, it's going to keep challenging that weakness until you overcome it. There you go. Not that shooting a 7-pin is necessarily a weakness for him, but he did miss it. But there's a conversion, and now he's back up on the horse. And he wants to start riding now. Get into a full gallop. Well, that's twice we've seen him leave the stone 9. I think he's getting tired of that. And I don't blame him. Well, not only did Jesse win here in Lawrence the last time we were here in November, but the month after that, in December, he finished 7th in the adult youth doubles tournament. So now he'll have a 3rd finish in the top 7. Meanwhile, Caden, well, he finished 1st last month in February, 8th at the adult youth doubles in December, finished 5th in November here in Lawrence. And back in September, he made the show, qualifying 5th and finished 3rd. Caden seems to always be around the lead, putting himself in position to have a chance at the end. You do that, and you'll find yourself as at least a co-player of the year, as he was this past season with Rhett Ryman and Nolan Nash. He sure throws a lot of those. 5-step approach. Nice slide, foot perpendicular to the foul line at the end, just like we like to see it. He's gotten better this year, I gotta say. Whoa. Oh, he gets the 7 to fall somehow. Something in the back tipped it forward. Man, he got this thing so wide, I thought it might be headed to the moat. Look at that thing. That's all the way out to about maybe 3. But he brings it all the way back, and I think that's the head pin that was spinning around in the back and got the 7 from behind. There you go. Get a little string going. And he cuts Caden's lead to 22. Every little bit helps. You know, we haven't had a 2-time winner this year on Prodigy in Division 1. And if Caden were to go on to win, or if Jesse were to go on to win, either one of them, I think you'd have to say they would have the inside track on Player of the Year. Although Landon Ziegenhurt may have something to say about that in the next match. The winner of this match will bowl for the championship against Landon. But this could be a pivotal match here in determining Player of the Year. Caden covers the spare. Once again, there's bowlers to our right on lanes 7 and 8. That's Division 3. And we will recap how their stepladder finals played out when we get to the end of the show after we talk to our winner. Well, I don't think Caden really liked that one off his hand. He was begging for it to get back, but it did. And snapped out the 10, no problem. He always gets a handful. All right, Jesse, I think you're going to have to keep striking. Throw them like that, and you just might keep yourself in it. Watch this shredder. It's over about 22 at the arrows, gets out to the sweet spot on the lane where everybody's trying to get to the same area on the lane. Just a matter of what angle do they take to get there. Oh, he didn't get that one quite wide enough. He missed the break point that he was aiming for. And now he's got the 6-9-10. I won't call it an uncommon spare, but it's one you don't see every day. But he makes it with ease. But he sure could have used a strike there to keep biting off chunks of Caden's lead. As it is, Caden holds a 14-pin edge, and he's working on a strike, so he can build on that lead here. That's how it's done. Another strike pushes his lead out to 24 pins. Take a look at these two side by side. Two two-handers have slightly different ways of doing it. Jesse with the big gap between his leg and the ball. Caden's got it right next to his ankle. I think in the long run, Jesse would do well to adapt slightly and narrow that gap between the ball and his ankle, but it has worked for him so far. Oh, Caden got away with one that time. That was a little too high, or so it would appear. Watch where this ball goes through the pins. That's pretty high on the head pin. Could have been a 410, but the 4 and 10 both fall. He's got it all going for him today. Ooh. And Jesse nearly had the 4-9. The 9 did go out, but he needs strikes, not spares. And he covers the 4-pin. Well, here's the situation. Jesse can strike out for 224. Caden is going at a 239 pace. Well, that just reduced Jesse's potential score. With a spare here, the best he can do is 212. And I think it is a pretty tough lift for Jesse to get there now. Caden would just about have to crater here in the last 2 frames. I don't see him doing that, although I have seen some strange things in this sport over the years. Well, I tell you what, he almost had the 4-6-7, but that's a strike. That's 2 in a row that he carried very high hits. Caden, it might be a good idea to start moving left. Six pin gets tripped from behind. The 4 goes out. Living dangerously. Gave that one plenty of room. That's the best ball he's thrown in a few frames, and it's the shutout ball in this match. Watch it again. That was at about 21 at the arrows, out to about 7. That was perfect. I think I'd stay right there if I could. Yeah, there you go. So that puts him in the 260s. Thank you very much. And if I'm Landon Ziegenhurt, I'm saying to myself, good, I'm glad you got that out of your system before I have to bowl you. 9 count to finish, a 268. Not bad, young man. So Jesse will go through the motions of finishing out this match, as literally nothing is riding on these final balls. But he'll give it his best shot anyway. You got to respect that. Even though he has nothing riding on these final tosses, he's going to give it his best. And there's the big four. Or as we called it when I was growing up, double pinochle. It's an 8 out for a 200 even. It's Caden White who has won match 3, and now he's moving on to the championship match, where he'll face our tournament leader, Landon Ziegenhurt, next. Well, it took a whopping 225 average to crack the top 5 and make the TV finals in Division 1. Here's how everybody finished qualifying in Division 1. Of course, you know who made the top 5. Just missing the cut was one of our reigning co-players of the year, Rhett Ryman. He finished as the alternate in 6th. Andrew Coleman of the Bowling Coleman family was 9th. There's Colton Swift. He and his brother won the adult youth doubles tournament in Olathe in December. Landon Stoddard, who's climbing back up after converting to two-handed, he's getting more comfortable with it, so don't be surprised if he makes the show in the coming months. There's Caleb Conroe. He made a nice run a couple of months back. Dylan Pollard, the Dill Pickle, in 20th. And Eli Clinklin, who bowled 300 last month, he finished 24th. And there's Caden Ball rounding out the field. Caden is the Division I defending champion at the March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament in Belton next week. Isn't it odd how the magic touch in bowling can be yours in one match, and then in the next match, it's gone? In match 2, it was Jesse Holtkamp who threw 9 strikes in defeating Fiona West. And then in match 3, it was Caden White who threw 9 strikes, while Jesse could only manage to get 4. It's another example of how one of the biggest challenges bowling throws at you is to try to keep doing what you've been doing. It seems like it would be fairly simple, but as any bowler knows, it's easier said than done. So Jesse's climb to the top falls a little short today, and Caden White advances to the championship match to face our tournament leader, Landon Ziegenhurt. Caden is coming off a win at last month's KCO February point tournament in Leavenworth, and Landon is looking to become a winner on Prodigy Bowlers Tour for the first time. We're still looking for our first multiple winner this season, so if Caden can achieve it, he'll be on the inside track for Player of the Year. But you can bet that Landon would like to throw his hat in the ring for that honor, and a win here would be a good way to do just that. Yikes. Landon was not hoping to leave the 6-7-10 on his first toss, but we've seen that happen before on Prodigy back on episode 1. Charlie Bostic. Oh, but what a shot! That's how you make the 6-7-10 in the first frame of your game. But Landon gets a little too much of the 6-pin, so it's an open to start. And that's unexpected. So Caden White coming off that 268. He's got to be licking his chops right about now. This young man started his bowling team in high school. In Missouri, high school bowling is just a club activity. His school didn't have one, and he did all the work to get it started. And he goes through the nose and leaves the 3-6-10. Well, this young fellow also enjoys playing baseball and golf, so I know he is going to appreciate the warmer weather we're starting to enjoy here in Kansas City. We just hope it stays. Seems like every time it warms up, we get a little bout with another round of winter. Oh no, another open frame. What is going on with these two? All right, well, let's have a 9-frame match. Well, he certainly gave that one plenty of room. A little too much room, I would say. Leaves the washout, the 1-2-10. Move your feet about 7 boards right. Throw it over your strike target. Get that ball to finish on the left side of the head pin. Throw that head pin over into the 10, and you'll be golden. Close, but too much of the 1 pin, and look at this. We're almost through 2 frames looking for our first mark. I would not have predicted this. Not the way these two have been striking all day. And I'll tell you what, the 2-8 is no walk in the park, especially when you're covering as many boards as Landon does. Got to be careful with this, the double wood. But he covers it beautifully with that ball right on the center of the face of the 2-pin. So we have our first mark. Say hallelujah. Well, I always have these kids fill out a questionnaire to give me a little background information on them. I know some of these kids, but some of them I don't. And Landon writes under the question, his favorite Pro Bowler? He says, that's Caden White. And what do you want to be when you grow up? He says, I still want to be Caden White. So at least we know he has a sense of humor. He looks pretty intense on the bowling lane, so I'm just glad to know the kid can laugh a bit. Oh, I think right about now, Caden's thinking, it's not really a laughing matter to me, as he has now left himself the 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Get that 3 over into the 4 and hope that it mixes up with the 7 as well. He missed the 3, 6, 10 earlier. Well, he would have liked to have shot the 3, 6, 10 like that. But it's an open frame. That's 3 opens to start for Caden. I can't recall a time I've ever seen Caden White start a game with 3 opens. I'm sure it's happened, but not in my recollection, and certainly not recently. Well, you just got to shake it off and just, oh, look at this. He goes with the big loft. Maybe that's the solution. Well, we saw this happening at the end of the last match. He started having a hard time keeping the ball off the nose. And he's had that problem in the opening frames of this game. And rather than move farther left, he's decided to go with the big loft to delay the hook. And we're just going to keep shooting the 2-8 for a while. He made it before. This is one I would not want to keep shooting, though. Got to be real careful and not let the ball pass the center point of the front pin to the left. As long as you're to the right of the center of the pin or right flush on the face of it. Well, he just barely got that back pin. Those double wood spares can be very tricky with the sleeper 8 back there. So we've got 2 players, 4 frames in, and we've had 2 strikes. That's 3 now. This is the best shot he's thrown this game by far. He's already into the 5th arrow now. See if Caden moves farther left or if he just keeps trying to loft the ball down the lane. It's the loft option. And he gets the love tap on the 10. Just enough. Watch this. Where does he throw this ball out on the lane? That's halfway to the arrows. The arrows are 15 feet down lane from the foul line. So he's lofting it at least 7 or 8 feet. That's a lot. Did it again. Well, the ball's not going to hook when it's in the air. That's the thinking behind the big loft. And you can get it to scoot down lane a little farther before it starts to hook. The risk you run with the big loft is sometimes you'll catch the finger holes on the upswing and you put a little extra on it and it'll overhook. Landon taking a different approach. He just moves farther left. There is some oil in there, but you got to go quite a ways to find it. And with the rev rate of some of these guys, they're just taking the oil right, whatever oil there is left, they're taking it right off the lane. But you watch, Landon won't loft it the way Caden is. He just moves farther left. Different strokes for different folks. Here's his footwork. We'll have a big drift to the left. That's what we see the power players do nowadays. That is to walk out of the way of the swing. If you're a right-hander, you don't want to drift to the right because then you walk into your swing, and that's no good. It kind of messes things up. Boy, tell you what, you wouldn't want to have to do that for 6 or 7 games. But for one, you can probably get away with it. All right, here they are, side by side. 2 power players. One's a 2-hander, one's a 1-hander. They both get maximum leverage. Caden's actually throwing more hook. But both very effective, and here they are bowling for the championship. Different ways to skin a cat. Although, just to be clear, don't skin any cats, please. I loves me some kitties. Caden with the 3-9-10. This is no bargain. Got to put the ball on the right side of the 3 and have it deflect into the 10 at just the right spot where it will also take out the 9. Oh, but Caden goes with his backup. And of course he goes with his backup. That's actually a really smart play. And another reason why having a backup ball in your bag of tricks can definitely be to your advantage. Boy, I tell you what, that makes this spare a whole lot easier. If you can be that accurate with it, man, that's really good. Smart play, Caden. All right, Landon with a double up. Uh-oh. Up pops the double. The 4-9. Well, Landon, we've had this made on Prodigy before by little Adam Wilson of Lawrence. How about that? How about that? He made it at the Adult Youth Doubles Tournament in Belton, where we will be next week. And look at Landon Ziegenhurt show us another way of making the 4-9. Well, these two are just putting on a little trick shot clinic. Watch this. Landon throws a regular hook ball, but he doesn't hook it much. That's beautiful. And that maintains his 14-pin lead. And he nearly paralyzed the 5, but it goes finally. And that'll set him up nicely for the 10th frame with a strike in the foundation 9th. He's playing over the 5th arrow and swinging it out to about 8. Man, that is covering some boards. All right, Caden. You're going to have to match him strike for strike, at least. Oh! Man, he lofted that 9 feet in the air, and it still hooked back, went Brooklyn, and he tripped the 6. Watch it. Yeah, that's the biggest loft he's thrown so far this game. And the 3-pin goes to the wall and comes back and gets the 6. Any left-hander would love that shot. Oh, through the nose. You just had a feeling that this wouldn't hold. He's never looked all that comfortable with the big loft this game, but here's how you make the 410, and he's going to have to go all out for it. Oh, maybe. Oh! Oh, you can't come any closer and not make it. My word. I haven't seen one quite like that in a long time. That should have gone. But it's an open, and now Landon, a free ride. And that strike will put an end to it. Landon Ziegenhurt has broken through and won the KCO here on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Watch this. It was almost the pocket 710. That would have been interesting. But the messenger takes out the 10, and Landon Ziegenhurt with a big green W next to his name. And another strike in the 10th to leave no doubt he's going to be in the 220s. And I tell you what, he bowled well and had to fight through a little bit of adversity. That's an 8 count to finish. That will be a 225 for Landon Ziegenhurt in a winning effort. He takes down Caden White, and now he will sign the coveted trophy pin. You'll get to meet him next. You look at the final scores of the 4 stepladder matches, and it's a bit misleading. 3 of those matches were closer than the scores might lead you to believe. And the championship match was no different. Then when Caden came within a whisker of making the 410 in the final frame, it finally tipped the match decisively in Landon's favor. So instead of us having our first two-time winner this season, Landon Ziegenhurt now joins an impressive list of one-time winners in Division I this season, including Cooper Farmer, Andrew Coleman, Jesse Holtkamp, Colton Swift, Caden White, and now you can add Landon Ziegenhurt to that list. So I'd say with just a few more KCO events yet to be held this season, the race for Player of the Year is wide open. But today, the one who's celebrating is Landon Ziegenhurt, and it's high time you meet him. Another first-time winner on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, but not the first time he's appeared on the show. It's Landon Ziegenhurt, and it finally all came together for you today. What was different?
I was just throwing the ball good today, and things were falling for me.
They sure were.
Yep.
To the tune of a 225?
25.
Very nice. You beat a formidable opponent.
Yep.
I was talking to somebody in the crowd earlier saying that third match between Caden and Jesse Holtkamp, that could have been the deciding match on Player of the Year because both of them had won. But then I mentioned to you that you could put the kibosh on all of that nonsense, and you did.
Yep.
So I guess you like bowling in Lawrence.
I do. I love bowling here.
Yeah?
It's a nice, fun center, and I know the partial owner, Jesse Bauer. He's from Junction City.
Awesome. So congratulations. You know what this means. Or maybe you don't know what this means since you've never done this before, but you get to sign your name on the coveted trophy pin, and that punches your ticket to the season-ending Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions, which will be held the Sunday after Father's Day, where somebody will win the coveted trophy pin as well as a nice scholarship prize. And who knows, it might be you who takes it home.
Hopefully.
Landon Ziegenhurt, ladies and gentlemen, the winner today in Lawrence. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As I mentioned during the show today, the bowlers in the periphery to our right on lanes 7 and 8 were the finalists in Division 3. Here's how their stepladder played out. In the opening match, the 5-seed, Olivia Hemker of Lawrence, Kansas, defeated the 4-seed, Brady Walworth of Stillwell, Kansas, 246 to 194. Then in match 2, it was the number 3 qualifier, Dylan Hunt of Topeka, who rolled a 300 earlier in the day during qualifying. He defeated Olivia Hemker 179 to 163. Then in the semifinal match, Dylan continued to bowl well, but the 2-seed, Nicholas Burfict, bowled a little bit better, winning the match 230 to 212. And that sent Nicholas Burfict of Manhattan, Kansas, into the championship match, where he faced the tournament leader Andrew Lindsay of Overland Park, Kansas, who made a strong showing and claimed the title 233 to 190. So congratulations to Andrew Lindsay. On our last episode, you saw the Division II stepladder, where Kelton Meyer of Topeka took top honors. And we told you about how Caleb Montague of Gardner, Kansas, took the Division IV title, and Anna Bousfield took the crown in Division V. And of course, you saw Landon Ziegenhurt win the Division I title on today's show. So congratulations to all 5 division champions at the 2025 KCO March Point Tournament. All 5 are eligible for the Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions on June 22nd, where one champion will claim the coveted trophy pin. By the time you watch this episode, we will have already held the 2025 KCO March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament at Aaron's Family Fun Center in Belton, Missouri, where we'll bring you 2 more episodes of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Look for the first one to drop in about a week. Then there are just a few KCO tournaments left this season. the April Point Tournament in Leavenworth, the May Point Tournament in St. Joseph, and the KCO Invitational in Olathe. And finally, we'll be back in Olathe for the season-ending Prodigy Tournament of Champions. If you'd like to bowl in one of the few remaining KCO events this season, get over to the KCO's website at www.kansascityopen.com. There you'll find everything you need to know to enter. If you enjoyed the show today, take a few seconds and hit the thumbs up button and smash that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below. Just don't leave a spoiler. You know what a spoiler is, right? Any comment that gives away the ending. That'll just give people a reason not to watch, and that's not cool. None of those things, liking the video, subscribing, or leaving a comment, costs you a penny, and they all really do help us grow the channel by playing along with the YouTube algorithm. Oh, and share the video with your friends and family on social media, or anyone you know who's into bowling. When people first find out about Prodigy, they usually like it and start watching, so help us spread the word. If you'd like to support the creative work that goes into producing Prodigy Bowlers Tour, and it does take me about 40 hours to edit each episode of the show, become a Prodigy patron. For as little as $5 a month, you'll get early access to all our full-length episodes of the show. And for $10 a month, you not only get early access, but you also get your name listed in the show's closing credits as an executive producer, like they do in Hollywood when they're the driving force behind a major motion picture. Go to www.patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour and follow the instructions to become a patron. You will receive my undying gratitude. To keep up with all things Prodigy throughout the year, join the Prodigy Facebook group. From any page on Facebook, just type the words Prodigy Bowlers Tour into the search bar and hit enter. That'll take you to the page where you can submit a request to join the group. It's free, and you'll get behind-the-scenes info about the show and get clued in whenever something cool is coming up. But remember to answer the screening questions. If you don't, we're liable to assume you're a spam bot, and your request to join will be declined. Nobody wants spam bots in the group. Well, that's a wrap. Again, 2 more episodes were taped on March 22nd and 23rd, so look for new episodes of the show in the next 2 weeks as we crank out 4 shows in 4 weeks. This is Coach Randy reminding you, stay behind the foul line and keep kicking out the corner pins, not the foul lights and ball returns. And I'll talk to you again on the next edition of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, go get your bowl on.